Hello, FlossTube. It's Brittany at Ingleside Imaginarium. I have not been stitching a whole lot because I've had a lot of work to do. Very exciting work. Nevertheless, I've been busy and haven't had the energy to do stitching after a long day of work. So something that I have had time to do slash motivation to do is shopping for cross stitch, with the hope that one day I'll be able to work on it, all of it, including these 3 new cross stitch kits I got. These are all by Luca S. I've never stitched a Luca S pattern, but I have been looking for a beautiful wolf pattern that I really like the colors on this one. I like kind of the autumn feel to the bottom. I like that the wolves have the red tones in them. I love foxes, and this one was just too cute. Again, it kind of has similar colors between the 2 patterns, and then this one is still similar colors. They all have the orangey colors in them, but this is just beautiful with all of the greens and the orange with the green. I thought it was really great. So, like I said, I've never stitched a Luca S kit before, but they have all of the floss already wound on these organizers with the, looks like the symbol, which is kind of neat. Should be easy to find. All of these come on Aida, and they do come with needles. I opened up this fox kit already because this is the only one that I think I'd like to change the fabric on. I thought this would be really pretty with a blue fabric. And in fact, I went through my stash and found this 32 count linen. It is by Fortnite Fabrics, who are no longer in business. I think called Crashing Wave, and so you can see it's a light blue kind of cloudy fabric, and I think that would be perfect for this. These cute little foxes. So I think I'm going to stitch the foxes on this, and then these others stitch on the Aida that's provided. This one is 16 count. Actually, they're all 16 count, I'm pretty sure. Yes. This one is actually a gridded Aida, and I've never used a gridded Aida, so that'll be a new experience too. What I love about these kits and what attracted me to them is that they all have very minimal back stitching. You can see here the whiskers and the tiger's nose. Again, whiskers, and again, just a little backstitch detail around the mouths, but they are also detailed, and I'm really looking forward to working on these and experiencing kind of like how they design their patterns with the shades and the shape of the fur, and like I think it could be really neat to stitch, to even just broaden my own design capabilities one day when I have time and can get back to designing. But I thought it would be fun for today because I'm kind of in a between work chill day for the first time in a long time. I'm gonna indulge and I'm gonna start each of these kits. What I might do is, let's see, I'm gonna have to start in the middle. So I would be starting around here on this wolf's muzzle. I'd be starting probably here with this fox's muzzle, and then here in the middle of the tiger's muzzle. Lots of muzzles. And similar colors. So what I may do is start with the foxes, then go to the tiger, and then go to the wolf. But you'll find that out soon, whatever I've chosen to start with. Actually, maybe what I'll do is start on one Aida, then go to the linen, and then to the Aida. That kind of feels good. Maybe I'll save the tiger for last, do the wolf first, and then do this fox second. Well, you'll find out shortly. Say hi, Rhaegar. Are you snoozing? You wish you were a cat. Just snoozing away, no worries in the world. Sitting on your mom's cross stitch. Doesn't even care. Danny's here too. They're such loyal kitty cats. Anyway, I'm gonna report back once I get this open. here I am. I've opened up the kit. This one came in this little envelope rather than sort of the plastic sleeve like the other ones. It has 4 floss cards, again with the symbols marked on there. I'll see how I like to use these, but I think it'll be pretty useful. I can punch those holes out and loop through the extra strands. Once I open these up, I can get them attached in there to keep them from flying around and getting tangled. At least for first look before I have tried them, I'm feeling positive about it. Here's the Aida. Feels nice, not overly stiff. Looks nice. I don't really have much to say about it except that it's Aida. You know, a little stiff, but I would say not bad. I think that it would soften up really easily. And then yes, it does come with 2 needles. One probably for backstitch, perhaps. So one of these has a smaller eye than the other one. So I'm gonna fold this Aida to where I can find the center and get started. So in trying to find the center of this pattern, something interesting I did notice about these patterns, and I'm just gonna flash a little bit of it. Very large print, which is nice. They do show you which part of the pattern each page is, which is also helpful. There is no overlap on the pages, so that's something to consider, as well as the fact that the center is not marked with arrows like I'm used to it on a lot of other kits. However, I am going to count on the top corner of the square, the top left corner of the square being the center. At least that's what this diagram is showing me. So what I'll probably do, if you have not watched my videos before, I tend to be not an extreme cross-country stitcher, but I like to do cross-country. So I start in an area and then I take a block of color and sort of work out until it feels natural to end that color. I may count to continue that color, or I may start another color where I don't have to count. That's kind of the way that I enjoy stitching most. So what will probably happen is I'll start around here and then just kind of work out probably along the same page, just since there isn't an overlap and the pages are so large. I don't know that I will have room to reference more than one at the same time. So that will be interesting to see how I choose to stitch this, because I could stitch a whole page, but what I'll likely do is I will maybe stitch a little bit out this way and then kind of work around so that the piece grows more organically than page by page. Yeah, let's go ahead and get started. Hi everyone, checking back in after I worked on the first of my 3 Luca S cross stitch kits that I'm starting. And here's where I'm at. I did end up crossing over pages to follow my color. I picked a symbol and it was only this much on one page, then a couple of little, and then once I got over here I had quite ways to follow it. I was tempted to keep going, but I know I have 2 other kits I get to start, so it's the brown color that you see here, and then in the darker part of this wolf's coat, where they are standing next to each other. So there's a start. Pretty fun. I just think this is a beautiful pattern. I can't wait to get more done on it. All right, I'm all unpacked with kit number 2, which are these cute foxes. Here's all my thread colors. Here's the fabric I'm substituting in, my Evie needle minder, my cat Rhaegar. We're all ready to go. And I looked at the pattern. This one was marked in the center with the arrows like I'm used to, and it looks like the center is right around this little flower. So that's where I'll start. Maybe get that flower in, this flower in, that flower in, and that would feel like I did something. So cute, can't wait to start. Oh, they just are adorable. Anyway, I'm gonna get going and I'll show you all my progress after I get it done. I'm back and I got to stitch my little flowers. I'm so pleased with how this looks on this fabric. Hopefully as I continue stitching the foxes, all the colors will look good on it. There they are, and I got to stitch this. And just to prove how detailed the color work is on these kits, within this little group of stitching these 3 little flowers, I used 10 different colors. You can see the ones that I've cut and secured on the floss key, and then or palette, whatever you want to call it, and then I looped my extra bits through the little holes they have there. I assume that's what that's for, but if not, that's how I'm using it. But I thought it was pretty cool. There's 10 colors in there to give all the shading. So that's fun. I'm gonna look forward to coming back to this and maybe get started on some of the fox fur. I did find out that there is some shading, background shading here, and so I'll have to decide, since I am doing this on blue fabric, if I want to include that or not. But that's a decision for another day. All right, I have one more kit to start, and I'm looking forward to that one. It's the tiger. I'll show it to you in just a bit. And this is the last Luca S kit that I'm going to start. I just love the orange of the tiger with all of the greens of the jungle and the eyes. It's just stunning. And here is the Aida. This is the first time actually I'm ever going to be using gridded Aida, which is quite interesting. And here are all the beautiful colors. I'm going to be starting in the middle of this piece, so I have a feeling I'll be using some of these oranges and browns, which I'm not going to complain about. Rhaegar's still hanging out with me. He's giving himself a little bit of a groom. But yeah, this will be the last one. That's exciting. I have enjoyed getting a new start, working on some new projects, and this one I'm sure will be no exception. I'll show you what I get done in a minute. Hello everyone. I was going to show you where I got on the tiger kit, but my house tiger has decided to sit on top of it. Will you move so I can show everybody my stitching? Or are you happy where you're at? Hope you can hear those purrs. He's a pretty good purr. Okay, Rhaegar, can I get in there? Hold on, everybody, 1 second. Well, it got all wrinkled. Because multiple times when I tried to move that cat off of my stitching, he stepped back on it. He flipped it over. He just wants to be in the middle of everything. He wanted to either sit on that or on all my supplies. But thankfully he did leave the picture open so we can compare what I stitched to the picture. So this is what I stitched. There are 2 shades of orangey brown, kind of rusty orange colors there. And it is the bridge of the tiger's nose. Right here is where I started. You can see this lighter spot there, this kind of round lighter spot, is right here. So I'm pretty pleased about that. I got a little nervous about having enough space on this piece of Aida, but one of the good things about gridded fabric I found out is you can count the blocks of 10 on your pattern and count them out to know if it's gonna fit. And I believe I'm gonna have 2 of these 10 blocks on both sides of this, and it'll fit. So that's a comfort. Now that Rhaegar has moved, I can put these next to each other. It's already been really fascinating to see how these 2 shades are like fairly close in color, but are gonna come together to create all of the shading and dimension in that tiger's face. Like I said about the other ones, all of these pieces I'm just so thrilled to have, and I'm excited to be able to stitch them and however long it's going to take me, and eventually get them up on my wall. That's one thing about cross stitch that I really appreciate, is that you can set it down when you need to, and once you've learned how to do it, you can always pick it back up when you're ready for it. And I feel the same way about Flosstube. I appreciate that when I am able to share something with y'all, you're here to watch it and are happy to see me. Anyway, I have one more thing that I'd like to share for those of you that are still watching around. Speaking of Flosstube and cross-stitching, my friend Ryan is a designer, also a cross-stitch designer by the name of Wild Violet. And she's been working on something really hard that I think that stitchers would like to know about. So I thought I would share it at the end of this video. And if you're interested, you can go to her website and see it. I feel like a lot of us love cross stitch, but it is hard to find a way to kind of casually share that love with the world. But she made and designed a spring collection with all kinds of clothes and bags and sweaters and different things. This is just the home page of the website, but she has t-shirts. You can see here it's just a really elegant floral motif with some nice colors. On some of the pieces it repeats, sometimes it's just a single motif, but you know, arranged different ways. Like this skirt has it around the band and at the right above the hem there. I have purchased some of these. I got one of these boxy t-shirts because I've really been enjoying having just a little more breathing room in my shirts lately. My mom loves a v-neck, so I got my mom one of these, and I think that she appreciates vintage embroidery and stuff, and I think this is something that she'd wear and feel comfortable in. One of the other things that I was excited to order, I did not order any of the dresses, but I saw Ryan wearing one. They're very cute. I especially like how the motif is used on the shoulders or the straps of this dress. There's tank tops. Here's the bottoms. She's got even leggings. But here's what I wanted to share. There are bags of different sizes. I believe I ended up getting the tote bag because I am a bag addict. I love having bags. Do I use them all? I have a bag of bags in storage, but it's nice to have a bag of different sizes when you need it. So I got this bigger tote right here, and then I also ordered the Weekender bag. And something I'm intrigued to try out on this is that because these are printed as X's, I might even do some chain stitching on the bag following the X's because it is a very sturdy canvas material and it has the rope handles, and whether you stitch this whole design or just the flowers or different parts, I think it could be really cool to add some texture to it and kind of have like a mini kit kind of, or like a mini canvas. She also has some interesting things like aprons. There's some little flip-flops, handkerchief bandanas, or scarves is what they're calling these. I guess they are scarves. And then the cutest thing is she has little pet bandanas. How cute are those? She took a video of her cat Kiki wearing one. And then who doesn't like a water bottle? They've got slides. And then a couple different hat designs. So if you are interested in sharing your love of cross stitch with the world in what I feel like is a very elegant and subtle way, you know, check out her website. It's wildviolet.co. I'll put the link in the description of this video if you're interested. I do feel like the prices are very affordable for the t-shirts and even the bags. So check it out if you want to. Anyway, I'm excited for my pieces to come in. I'm gonna wear them out I can wear them to stitchy events, but also I do a lot of live chain stitching events where I kind of like to bring in the idea of embroidery with some of my accessories or rhinestones, kind of that Western wear aesthetic. Not that these are Western wear, but it feels like a really great shirt for me to wear to those events that's comfortable if I'm gonna be stitching for a long time. But also, if people look up, it kind of goes all with the look of somebody who sews. This collection is available for a limited time, so if you are interested in purchasing any of these pieces, I would go check out our website now, set an alarm in your phone just to make sure you don't miss out. Because if this collection goes well, there's potential that she may work up another collection of different, seasonal vibes in the future. And I, for one, would love to see a spooky vibes collection for Halloween from Ryan if this goes well. She has a ton of spooky cross-stitch patterns that I can see translating well onto bags and shirts and all kinds of things. That would be fun to have, a little spooky, stitchy style going on. But this is her spring, and this is kind of her first foray into it, so hopefully it goes well. So anyway, it's been a good week. I've been enjoying getting back, some time, getting to spend some quality time with my stitching, some new pieces, not my old friends, but some new friends, and I think they're all beautiful, so I'm excited to have them. But with that, I'll let y'all go. Thanks for joining me on this little impromptu serial start. And I am planning on I'm working on some other cross-stitch content to potentially share with you soon, so keep your eyes out. Some of my old friends may be coming back to FlossTube soon, so anyway, thank you all for watching. Thanks for having me back. Those of you that have watched, and if anyone's new, thanks for checking me out. I do like these kits so far. It wasn't an official review, but I do feel like the Luca S kits are pretty awesome. The designs, at the very least, are just really phenomenal. So, okay. I'm not used to doing floss tubes. I'm not used to ending them anymore. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say so long and happy stitching to everybody. Bye!